Hi ladies and gentlemen, this is Miss Peterson and we're going to go ahead and go through assignment number 2, which asks you to be able to make a bar graph, but then also to calculate some process data as far as averages, standard deviation, and standard error. So I'm going to walk you through how to do that on Excel. Here we go. Here's a scenario. You're going to be using the exact same pea plant problem that was provided to you in assignment 1. So you actually already have the table made and everything like that, but we're going to go ahead and practice a different scenario, making a table, merging cells, that kind of stuff that we've already done in video 1, but we'll go ahead and practice again. So you can see here that I've listed 8 or so, I think, different types of household ingredients. And they are reacting to what we call Benedict's solution, which is an indicator for protein. And this is what Benedict's solution looks like when it goes into a solution, and then this is when it reacts. It turns these various colors. We're actually going to be using this in a lab next week. So anyway, the first thing we need to do is we need to title our graph. We are timing the amount of time that it takes to react, so we're using a stopwatch. Now I talked to you about the fact that often when we use stopwatches, we just do a plus or minus 1 second error because it takes us a while to hit start and hit stop, and so we usually just say 1 second. However, let's be super accurate just so that we practice our uncertainty in this case. So we'll say table 1 because it's the first table, the time measured in seconds it takes for various household chemicals to react to Benedict's solution. We then would need some sort of uncertainty. So perhaps I'll do this as commas instead of that, and then to add in, you'll have to go to Insert, Symbol, and this is something that I've used before, so you can see it right here, and then we just hit Insert, plus or minus, and if you look at this, you'll know that it's plus or minus this last digit right here, and please remember, because it's digital, it's 0.0, only 1 that we do, and then we need the unit of seconds. Alright, so there's my title. Kind of is very long. Maybe I don't want it to be that long. Maybe I just want it to take up 4 cells. So I highlight the 4 cells that I want. I right click and go to Format Cells. I then, usually it pops up on this number screen. So you have to click over to Alignment, go Wrap Text and Merge Cells. And then now magically, if you drag this down, you can see everything together within those 4 cells. You might not want to do this until you've made all of your other things so you know how long or how many cells you should merge it into. And then I'm going to start typing protein powder. Oops, I have to write substance, right? And then trial 1, trial 2, trial 3. And then from there I'll write protein powder, and then write the amount of time, so this would be 2.42 seconds, so on and so forth. For time, I've already completed that, so if you look here, you can see that I have already, this just needs to be seconds, gone ahead and added it in. So substance, trial times, and then all of the substances, which is really great. However, when I go to graph this, it's going to kind of look like a hot mess because there's 2 second averages, and then there's 1 second average, and then there's 6 second averages, so on and so forth. So I actually went and rearranged these. There's no reason why protein powder needs to be first and why corn oil or egg whites need to be last. So I actually rearranged these based on timing. So you'll see here that all I did was just rearrange them. I just copied and pasted, so that just looks like this. Copy, and then paste. And then just so on and so forth. I just rearranged them based on what I wanted. So here is our final table pH. Now, If you want to rearrange those pea plant heights or whatever, you're welcome to do so. I think your data set is pretty good. But now I need to add in an average. So if you remember from the last video, I'm going to hit equals, and I'm going to start typing average, and I don't want this average deviation, I want this average, so I can go ahead and click on it. And then I can highlight the numbers I want to average, which are those three right there. And then I just hit enter. And there it gives me the average seconds. Now, if you see that little green box in the corner, I can click on that and I can drag down. It will then average everything in those columns exactly like the one above. Now, I only have 2 decimal places here, which means I can really only have 3 decimal places here. So if you just highlight these, right click, go to Format Cells, go to Number, and you'll see in the number, it says 2 decimal places. I actually want to give it 3. So, okay, there we go. Now it readjusts all of our numbers, one more than what we've been given here. Then I need to calculate standard deviation. So standard deviation is just a formula, just like averages. So I have a couple options. I can either click up here to insert a function, and then I can briefly type what I want. So standard deviation comes up, and you'll notice that there's a bunch of them. So I can either do it this way, or I can, again, just hit equals inside the box and start doing the same thing, STD, standard deviation. And I want to go ahead and pick this one that has the function key with the little yellow box next to it, I guess. Not the one that says standard deviation P. We don't want that one, so we just want this one. And then again, we want to highlight the numbers that we're doing standard deviation for. Please make sure that you don't do the average inside the standard deviation. You're just doing the raw numbers. And then go ahead and click enter. Again, same thing, drag down so that it repeats all the steps. And then you'll want to format cells to make sure that you have the same amount of numbers in the average, or significant digits in the average, as you do in standard deviation. Alright, and then the last one is standard error. So SE is standard error. SE has a different formula. It, again, is one that you actually are going to have to type in. Excel doesn't really know this formula. So you're going to have to, again, hit equals. And the formula is standard deviation, so you can go ahead and click on your standard deviation, divided by the square root. And if you do SQRT, again, you'll see it pop up, double click. And square root, and it just says of a number, and it's of the number of trials. So that's what makes standard deviation different than standard error. It both shows the range of numbers from the mean, but standard error is based on the number of trials you did. So we only did 3 trials for this. We did more days for the pea plant lab, so you'll want to make sure to not use the number 3. And then just go ahead and hit enter. Oh, and it'll correct my formula if I've forgotten that parentheses on the last. And then I go ahead, drag down. Again, I want to format cells to only have 3 significant digits. And there we go. Now you'll notice that my table kind of looks goofy. So what I actually want to do is I want to merge all of these cells together. So format cells, alignment, merge, go. And then you'll notice that I don't have any borders over here. So I can highlight the borders, or highlight the cells that I want borders on. Format cells, go to border, outside, inside, click OK. So now you can see my completed table. However, I need to make sure to highlight my process data, because those are the ones that I'm going to be giving sample calculations for. So there I go. Average, standard deviation, and standard error are all processed, meaning they needed an equation, so they should be highlighted. So this doesn't have the right heading, so let me copy and paste this down here and merge it, alignment, wrap, okay, and then now we're ready to go. So now it tells me that we want to make a bar graph. So it's really quite simple. We're just going to make a bar graph of these averages. So we'll just highlight the averages that we want. We insert right here a bar graph. You do a 2D bar graph. They will magically go up because I put them in the right order. but you'll notice that my bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is not very helpful. So I want to right click on the graph, go to select data, and I want to edit the horizontal axis. I don't want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I in fact want these substances. So all I did there was edit, highlight what I wanted, clicked OK. Then you'll notice that they're all listed there now. Click OK. Then you're going to want to modify a few things. You're going to want to add a chart element. You're going to want to add titles. I'm not going to do that for you, but you'd add titles here and here, making sure that you'd have units for up here, so seconds. And then some sort of chart title very similar to your table graph heading, except that it would say graph 1 instead of table 1. What I'm here to show you is how to then put error bars on. So this is making a graph, we're good there. Now we want error bars. So we actually want to add a chart element to our chart, and you'll notice midway down it says error bars. And you can just go ahead and click standard error. But you'll notice that it gives the same standard error to every single one. So we actually want to customize that. So if we left click on the error bars, we just highlight it. We right click on that. At the bottom it says format error bars. So that's what we want to do. We want to format them. And now this giant screen pops up here. So if we scroll down, we have to actually move me over. You'll see here that it says standard error is highlighted. We could also do standard deviation. We could do fixed amount, X, Y, and Z, whatever. We don't really care. Because what we do want is custom. Because we've already created our customized standard error, it's really easy. All we need to do is specify values. Now you'll notice that it can't just be 1 each way, because if we look in the standard error column, they're all very different. So you're going to want to leave the equal sign, but you're going to want to get rid of the bracket and the 1. So you'll see here how that still has the bracket and the 1. This does not. And you'll want to highlight your standard errors. Make sure to highlight all of them. It will do 1 per each column. And we'll actually want to do the same negative as we do positive. So again, get rid of that bracket with the 1, highlight the standard error, click OK. And now you'll see, get rid of that, you'll see how it's adjusted. Now some are very, very, very small, meaning they have a very small standard error, and some are a little larger. Your data will obviously have various differences of heights, but that's how you do average, standard deviation, standard error, making a bar graph with error bars. Hopefully that was helpful. Thanks.